Welcome in, Paramay Trades. Paramay's Trade Journal. Let's take a look at gold this weekend. It's Saturday, 28th. Market opens tomorrow. Doing a little bit of homework here. I want to get a head start on gold. We did a video last week, and needless to say, I think we were kind of right on the money. We definitely wanted to play gold. We said we wanted to play gold. The chart looked good. Well, I don't think we could have expected what happened next, but so let's take a look at price action, some pivots, and where commercial interest is, because that's really our leading indicator. Not the only indicator, but our leading indicator when looking at commodities. So what did we notice that really piqued our interest? So just looking at our 6-month index for COT in the 5 weeks prior is what really alerted us to, what really alerted us to a shift in sentiment with relativeness to gold. So there was a tremendous amount of selling off. We had witnessed that. Whether people were trying to cover positions in stocks and getting out of gold, whatever it was, we noticed that there was a relative shift going on in sentiment. So with that in mind, it piqued our interest, and we took a look at the gold chart. Oh, I think I just minimized all this stuff here. Let's get them all back. 3, 4, 5 here. Now let's first take a look at commercial interest. So we just did the COT report, commitment of traders, and we were looking at the shift in sentiment, right? We're in a little danger of repeating ourselves again on the gold chart, but this is one area that on the 6-month index that we were watching quite intently. Is that there happened to be an aggressive aggressive action by commercial interest in this area on the 6-month index. And gold's been pretty bullish for some time now. But what was really interesting here is once we broke this, this bearish sentiment on commercial interest and the negative 20% range, we had a consistent hike in sentiment shift as gold starts selling off. So this is looking a little bit more appetizing to commercial interest because, well, we just docked about, oh gosh, how many points here? 150 points? Yeah, just about. No, I'm sorry. About 250 points. So that starts to look a little bit more appealing. And one thing that I did notice about this gold chart here is, and just paying mind to, the same rule set, the same strategy that we always look for in regards to commercial interest, and thanks to Larry Williams for pointing this out, is that when we have commercial interest in an aggressive territory like this, and we have diminishing or relatively low open interest, each time that we had relatively low open interest on a bullish chart for gold, what happened next was pretty interesting. So relatively low open interest, and we saw this this turnaround in price action. Same thing here. Relatively low open interest, and the market turned up a little bit. Quite a consistent bullish chart here. So again here in this node where open interest is dropping, this looks again more appealing. Commercial interest getting bullish, and we had quite a bit of activity in price action here. Comms breaking, negative outlook, extreme territories down in the 6-month index, and we'd have a small retrace here just off the top. So then again we get into this territory where open interest is low, and lo and behold, we get some nice price activity to the upside. So here we were again in last week's report on this. Comms are looking really bullish. The sentiment is obviously shifting quite considerably. Open interest is relatively low. WPR is in the oversold range on the daily. Market sentiment doesn't really help us out, but we said in our last video that this probably wouldn't be helping us out too much in this territory because we thought it might swing up. Yeah, well, we got a little bit of that too. So I think we were kind of hip to massive sell-off, good area of value on this chart. Well, there's some support down here, lingering from this node of or this cluster of information that we've got over to the left. Whoops. And this has been a really good stiff support area for an area of interest for buyers down here. And I think folks are probably rejoicing at the fact that gold had dropped 250 points down here in the futures market, and they took it the other way. Let's just turn off change events here. There we go. Just kind of cluttering up the chart. So we said we wanted to play it. We played gold, and we made out handsomely here. So where's gold going to now? So comp's coming down a little bit. Will there be a continued sell-off or topping pattern that we're getting here on this swing with, it's not the prettiest head and shoulder pattern, but it's there. But we'd have to see some kind of major breakdown before any of that occurred. So where is gold going to next? Well, we found a little bit of support here temporarily. So we might have to come down, and it looks like, at first blush here that this just kind of skyrocketed anyway. So, but it looks like it found support here immediately. If you weren't a buyer on this trek, if you weren't a breakout buyer on this trek up, and you saw this support found here on this pivot, then I don't know if you're chasing gold up to the top here. Going to need to see something on the lower time frames. We've got the 4 hour up to, I really like the 15 minute. I really like the 15 minute. Where do we get a solid play with a swing that was identifiable, that would have gotten us in this trade? And we came down pretty low and tested this pivot, so we never closed below it, but the market did look like it wanted to push lower, but we trade through it, but we didn't close below it. And that would have been a real deal breaker if we kind of closed below this and also closed below or traded below this this swing low pivot. But as is customary, I think that we find on a lot of these charts is this, this either short-term or long-term low. What we call a short-term low, I would suppose. And what would have gotten us, into this? I really like, a W pattern formation. It's a little choppy, but this was nice. So is this your technical test here? Is this our technical test that would have gotten us in the trade? And was this buildup enough to also alert us that if this breaks, we want to be a breakout buyer in this area? So we've got this swing high pivot to work with. And if it doesn't look like much, but it looks like it found support there. Plus, with the EMA support, plus with the immediate test of this area, looking like it found support. And this is some nice buildup going on in this area of descending highs. And are you a breakout trader in this area? That's a strong candle. You see that? And then plus the support along this this swing high. Maybe this is the area that you would have also gotten into the trade. Great. So I mean, hindsight, right? This, looking back, makes it easy to say it would have been a buyer here, would have been a buyer here. But I think once these things are ingrained in your head, ingrained in your mind, you can kind of get a nice visual of where this is going in the future, because that's what really matters. Is finding the future trade setup and where this is going to go. Are we going to get some kind of relief bounce? But this was a telltale sign back here, was the swing, and then the retest. And we come down and here's your technical test area. A little, I would say it's harder to find on the lower time frames, but there's a lot of noise going on, so you've got to be mindful of that as well. But a no close below this higher low pattern here, which gives us this nice swing. And do we, can you make a case for a nice W pattern? With the anticipation that this is going to be a higher low. So we're watching here for this higher low. Oftentimes you don't see the retest or the technical test, but got to be aware of it, be on the lookout for it. Quite a range to work with here. A lot of noise at the bottom, but nice accumulation. And there's just so many opportunities on this chart to get in on the trade with a pump like this. And it'll really catch you off guard. And not having this data available to us. How would we have known that gold was gonna skyrocket like that? I think you just got to be ready for the trade. You got to be ready to go. I don't think anybody could have anticipated that it was gonna pump this hard. It would seem on the surface that commercial interest had some kind of inclination that this was a nice valued area when they started getting optimistic about it at these levels. So this is why this is our leading indicator. So where are we now? Where's gold going to? Let's get over here. So it looks like it's digesting this move rather well. No real signs of breaking down, so we've got this slight uptrend channel at least to work with in the time being. But if it doesn't break down, this could truck higher. This could absolutely truck higher, and we'll definitely be on the lookout for it. So what do we have here? I say 15-minute range top, but it's just a range top. So this is, the larger move range top here, and what we think is a range bottom. So we could also plead the case that this, here's your range top and here's your range bottom, and we ran the lows. So we ran the highs, we ran the lows. A little bit of a retrace. Does this have some more upside in store? Quite possible. Do I want to play gold this week? We're in a tighter range bound on the 15-minute. We did just barely break the lows here, but not significantly. I thought pay attention and monitor and monitor the ranges that we're working with, but I don't know that gold is done. 1700 has been pretty stiff in terms of supply up here, but both in the previous high and this high. So were we going to break it from 14 from 1450 in a single swoop? Not likely, but if we get some build up here and the markets continue to trend the way that they are, the virus business and with the dollar index, which is something that we need to watch right now, and also, watching I think probably the 10-year notes yield, which is not looking that great this week. This week that just passed, so I think the yield is somewhere around 7.75. So the yield not looking wonderful, and I would suppose that bodes well for gold. So anyways, this is what I got to say about the GC chart. Oh, it's just kind of a lazy Saturday here, doing a little bit of homework, but I don't know how particularly interested I am in playing gold this week versus playing currencies this week, or maybe the financials. So we'll have to see what carries over from last week. Nothing spectacular right now, at least, to say about gold. If something comes to mind, I'll post it in the Discord channel, and you're more than welcome to pop in and talk about the charts, talk about the videos. Download the Discord app. The server is listed here in the description. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the, hitting the subscribe button and leaving comments if you'd like. We really like those. Hope you find yourself on the profitable side of the trade, and we'll see you on the next video.